Hi guys, it's a Forgetful Scholar, and today we're doing a book haul because I ran out of romance novels, obviously. I had one cozy mystery left, but that's the Linda Child's other series, and I've been kind of procrastinating on it. And I kind of went a little overboard, 13 books, 10 romance novels, but they were $10 at my secondhand bookstore, and I just went a little deal happy. So there we go. I'm going to start. I got some Lisa Kleypas's, some Julia Garwood. We say Julia. It's Julie Garwood and some Julia Quinn. I got a lot of Julia Quinns. All right. So and I didn't get that many Lisa Kleypas's or Julie Garwood's because mostly at the store were their contemporary novels, and no me gusta. So my friend was with me. She's like, what? You just like the author? What romance is romance? I was like, no, there's a difference, like for historical, the personality of the male lead, what flies for that does not fly for contemporary, because for contemporary, those behaviors are red flaggy and run away, So it's sort of like you're watching a John Wick action movie, and then over here is a Lifetime romantic comedy, right? So you expect the male leads to be very different, and the male lead over here in the Lifetime movie, you don't expect him to be like secretly a hitman with a heart of gold. Although that would be amazing. I would watch the shit out of that. So, so that's why. And one of the Lisa Kleypas's, Lisa Kleypas Worth Any Price. I have read this before, but like, look at that step back. The one I got didn't have a step back. And this is not at all because I totally spaced and forgot that I already bought this and read it. Not at all. Would I make that kind of mistake? Okay, so another Lisa Kleypas is Love Come to Me. Okay, very nice cover. All right. He was her most scandalous secret. Heath Rain, a dashing southerner, has been waiting for his chance to meet Lucinda. Why do I think Letitia? Lucinda Cadwell. But he never expects to find the spirited beauty in such a desperate dilemma as he rescues her from an icy New England river. And when Lucinda opens her eyes, she is stunned to find herself in the arms of a handsome stranger with a dangerous reputation, a man forbidden to her by the rules of society and by her own guarded heart. But the chance encounter kindles an irresistible attraction that can lead only to trouble. After all, Lucinda is betrothed to a man of wealth and position among Massachusetts. I always have trouble with that word. Elite, and any hint of scandal would ruin her. She was all he had ever wanted. Despite Lucinda's best efforts to deny her feelings for the charming scoundrel, Heath offers a temptation that she can't ignore. And one summer afternoon, their mutual attraction blazes free in a seductive encounter that compromises Lucinda beyond a shadow of a doubt. The only solution is marriage, to a man she despises but hardly knows. A man with secrets that threaten the promise of love more powerful and passionate than anything she could have dreamed of. And I'll go again. Oh, hey, doggy. And again, we know Lisa Kleypas's titles mean jack all. So that sounds like fun, right? Okay, now, Julie Garwood, a gentle warrior. And some of her books are hefty. Like, look at a Lisa Kleypas book, right? And then look at one of Julie Garwood's books. I mean, I know the romance, the fantasy readers are probably like, oh, that's nothing. Right. You're right. Fantasy books can be pretty hefty. So yes. But that is, okay. Gentle warrior. In feudal England, Elizabeth Montright barely escaped the massacre that destroyed her family and exiled her from her ancestral castle. Bent on revenge, she rode again through the fortress gates disguised as a peasant to seek aid from Godfrey Berkeley, the powerful baron who had routed the murderers. He heard her pleas, resisted her demands, and vowed to seduce his beautiful subject. Yet Elizabeth thought the warrior's caresses, love, flame for this gallant man who has soon championed her cause, and captured her spirited heart. So, I just loved the idea of her coming back and like disguised as peasant, you know, to like get shit done. That's what drew me to this one. Okay, so let's do Julie Garwood, the prize. Again, her covers not very interesting. These have the feel of like republished. Just not very like. Where's the saucy step backs? Where's the you know what I mean? Anyway. In the resplendence of William the Conqueror's London court, the lovely Saxon captive Nicola was forced to choose a husband from the assembled Norman nobles. She chose Royce, a barren warrior whose fierce demeanor. Wow, sorry. Okay. Could not conceal his chivalrous and tender heart. Resourceful, rebellious, utterly naive, Nicola vows to bend Royce to her will despite the whirlwind feelings he arouses in her. Ferocious in battle, seasoned in passion, Royce was surprised by the depth of his emotions whenever he caressed his charming bride. In a climate of utmost treachery, where Saxons still intrigued against the Norman invaders, Royce and Nicola revealed in their precious new love, and a fervent bond soon to be disputed by the call of blood, kin, and country. So that sounded interesting to me. And sorry, you know, my dyslexia is like, hello, remember me? Yeah, I'm coming out to play. The book isn't in that best of, you know, condition, so I might have to do some repairs. But again, the deal. Okay, sorry. Keep talking about it. Okay. Now, the last Julie Garwood that I got is Julie Garwood Ransom, and I've heard a lot about this one. And this one, I liked the gates, and then I was so excited for a step back, but no. I mean, technically it's step back, but not like the kind I wanted. What is up with you, Julie Garwood? Do you not do that? Anyway. Overflowing with all the majesty and intrigue. Oh, okay, that was the blurb, but it's in the same font as the setback, so my apologies. Okay, in the dark days after the death of Richard the Lionhearted, lives and lands would fall into the upheaval of the hands of the power-hungry British ruler and his violent minions. One victim of the scourge is innocent Gillian. Gillian spelled with a G, it always takes me a second to remember that it's Gillian, not Gillian. I'm sorry. It happens when you're bilingual and dyslexic. It happens. Anyway, who is a mere child when the cruel and ambitious Baron Alfred slaughters her father and tears her family apart. Alfred, determined to recover a jeweled box from the despondent King John, is furious when his precious treasure slips through his fingers, only to be lost for more than a decade. Now, a beautiful young woman, Gillian, finds the key to resolving her past in a handsome Scottish chieftain, Ramsay Sinclair, and Brocklick Beckham. I am so sorry. I'm just so sorry for like everything in general all the time. Anyway. With the cunning and courage of the daring Scotsman, and with the friendship of the new ally, Bridget Kurt Colonel. I'm the worst. Anyway, Gillian at last fights the unscrupulous Baron Alford, laying claim to her home, her family, and her father's reputation. But in the presence of the mighty warriors, Gillian and Bridget discover that desire can be a weapon of conquest. Betrayal can slay trust in a heartbeat, and the greatest risk of all is surrender to the deep, emotional, unexpected love. That sounds really interesting. And it's a huge book. And it sounds like it's 2 romance stories in one. Jillian and thing in the book. Ooh, look at that. The glue's coming off. Okay. Again, what's up with your covers? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Give us the spice. Anyway, so this seemed interesting because it seemed like two couples at once. So I wondered what that was about. Okay, now, if you can't tell, I bought a lot of Julia Quinn. Okay, which way am I going in this? I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. Julia Quinn, the sum of all kisses, the Smith and Smith quartet. So, in the other one of her books, this was like the horrible musicians. So that intrigued me. I forget what book it was. It was funny. They bonded over a horrible romance novel where the lead's mother got pecked to death by pigeons. I enjoy her humor in her books. So Hugh Pretense has never liked a lady Sarah's Pentworth's, and his opinion is confirmed when he overhears her yammering on about how she must get married this season. She'll simply die. He's never had patience for dramatic females, and the word shy and retiring have never been in Sarah's vocabulary. Besides, even if he did grow to enjoy her company, it won't matter. A reckless fool has left his brilliant mathematician with a ruined leg, and now unable to run, ride, or even waltz. He can never court a woman like Sarah, much less dream of marrying her. Sarah has never forgiven Hugh for the duel he fought 3 years earlier, the one that forced her cousin into exile, nearly destroying her family. But even if she could find a way to forgive him, it wouldn't matter. She doesn't care that his leg is less than perfect. It's his personality she can't stand. But when the pair is forced to spend a week in close company, they discover opinions that even the firmest held can in fact be altered. And when a kiss leads to 2, 3, 4, the mathematician may lose count, and the miss may for the first time find herself speechless. See, I like these because the men always seem to be something else. Like, a lot of historical romances, the guy is an earl or something, and that's kind of all. He manages the estate. But I like that she tends to go for the brilliant yet little bit socially awkward, and the ruined leg. I know that's a weird thing to be interested in, but we don't get a lot of that in historical romances. And with someone who has a chronic illness, I kind of want to see how it's done. And I know I'm going to be super particular about it because I can be really nitpicky when it comes to stuff like that. So we'll see. I have high hopes though. Julia Quinn, when he was wicked. So this one, and then nothing. Thought it was a step back, right? Me too. Hate when I do that. Hate when I do that. Ha. In every life, there is a turning point, a moment so tumultuous, so sharp and breathtaking that one knows one life will never be the same. For Michael Sterling, London's most infamous rank, that moment comes the first time he lays eyes on Francisca Bridgerton. After a lifetime of chasing women, of smiling slyly, and they chase him, allowing himself to be caught by, never permitting his heart to become engaged, he took one look at Francisca Bridgerton and fell so hard into love that it was a wonder he managed to remain standing. Unfortunately for Michael, however, Francisca's surname was to remain Bridgerton for only a mere 36 hours longer. The occasion of their meeting was lamentably a supper celebrating her wedding to his cousin. But that was then. Now Michael is the Earl and Francisca is free, but still she thinks of him as nothing other than a dear friend and confidant. Michael dares not to speak his love until one dangerous night she steps innocently into his arms, and the passion proves stronger than even the most wicked of secrets. So I really am not interested in reading a Bridgerton novel, like really 100% not, but for some reason this got me. I don't remember why I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to give this a chance. I don't remember what I was thinking the store, but I'm not hating on it. You know what I mean? If I am going to read a Bridgerton, at least this seems to be Bridgerton adjacent. And it's not that I'm against Bridgerton or anything like that. It's just that I have members of my family that got so obsessed with the show that even with me, without reading the books or seeing the show, know every single thing that happens. And I'm kind of like over it for now. I'm hoping me being tired of Bridgerton will fade in time. And I thought this might be a good way to kind of step into it. So there's that. Okay. Julia Quinn, again, the rest, almost done. Sort of. This is going to be a long one. Julia Quinn, Just Like Heaven. The Bridgertons know the Smith, do you? Smith. Or is it Smythe? Is it Smythe? It might be Smythe and then Smith, because let's see if I could, you know what I mean? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I really need to get some sleep. Honorina Smythe Smith is A really bad violinist, B, still miffed at being nicknamed Bug as a child, C, not in love with her older brother's best friend, and D, all of the above. Marcus Holroyd is A, the Earl of Chattertees, B, regrettably prone to sprain ankles, C, not in love with his best friend's younger sister, D, all of the above. Together, they are A, eat quite a bit of chocolate cake, B, survive a deadly fever and the world's worst musical performance, C, fall desperately in love. It's Julia Quinn at her best, so you know the answer is D, all of the above. So, see, I like her humor. I like her humor. Again, these are the musicians in the earlier book I read that were absolutely horrible. So I thought this would be quite fun. Oh, What Happens in London. That's the book. What Happens in London. Okay. Julia Quinn, How to Marry a Marquis. She's trying to follow the rules. When Elizabeth... Oh, this is kind of script off. Hotchkiss stumbles upon a copy of How to Marry a Marquis in her employer's library. She's convinced someone is playing a cruel joke. With 3 younger siblings to support, she knows she has to marry for money. But who might have guessed how desperate she's become? A guidebook to seduction might be just the thing she needs. And what harm could there be in taking a little peek? But he's making his own. James Sidwell, the Marquis of Riverdale, has been summoned to rescue his aunt from a blackmailer, a task that requires him to pose as a new estate manager, and his primary suspect, his aunt's companion, Elizabeth. Intrigued by the alluring young woman with a curious little rulebook, he gallantly offers to help her find a husband by practicing her wiles on him. But when practice becomes all too perfect, James decides that there is only one rule worth following, that Elizabeth must marry her Marquis. See, I like this because I like the idea of Elizabeth having 3 younger siblings to support. She's trying her best. She has a job, but obviously she's a lady of a certain stature in society, so she can't be like, a teacher or a cook and things like this. So I'm always intrigued by that story. It's like how there's this huge divide. So the wealthy women, the privileged women, had to marry to survive. And if they can't, well, fuck all. You know what I mean? So that's fascinating to me. Not that I think their lives were hard or harder than the servants at the time or things like that. Because I don't. I think it's just different kind of societal problems, and I find that fascinating. And again, of course, they were privileged. I'm not disputing that. It's a book, and I find that aspect of it kind of interesting. So, and this is the last Julia Quinn for this little video, I promise. Julia Quinn, A Night Like This, the Smythe and Smith Quartet. So here we go. She might not be who she says she is, but Anne Winter is managing quite well as a governess to three highborn young ladies. Her job can be a challenge. In a single week, she finds herself hiding in a closet full of tubas, portraying an evil queen in a play that might be a tragedy or might be a comedy. No one is sure. And tending to the wounds of the oh-so-dashing Earl of Winstead. Anne has spent years dodging unwanted advances, but he's the first man who's truly tempted her and is getting harder and harder to remind herself that a governess has no business flirting with a nobleman. He might be in a moral dilemma. Danger, pardon. But that's not going to stop Daniel Smith from falling in love. And when the young Earl spies a mysterious woman at his family's annual musical, he vows to pursue her, even if that means spending his days with a 10-year-old who thinks she's a unicorn. But Daniel has an enemy who has vowed to see him dead, and when Anne is thrown into peril, he will stop at nothing to ensure their happy ending. So there we go. Those are the Julia Quinn. So those are the romance novels for my TBR shelf. Now for the cozies. So, okay. This should be no surprise. I'm really enjoying this series. And the cozy mysteries I found such a wonderful palate cleanser for when I read so many romance novels that I'm tired of the genre. I hop over to one of these that I'm able to enjoy the romances again. You know what I mean? So, A Noodle Shop Mystery, Murder Lo Mein by Vivian Chang, and I've been loving this series. Lana Lee stakes at, oh my gosh, what is wrong with my eyes and my tongue today? Anyway, Lana Lee's stake in her family's Chinese restaurant is higher than ever now that she's been made manager. So when she enters Ho Lee in Cleveland's Best Noodle contest, Lana makes it her business to win at all costs. But when a local food critic receives a threatening note and a fortune cookie and is later found dead face down in a bowl of lo mein, all bets are off. I shouldn't be laughing, but I will. And now along with her sweet and sour boyfriend, Detective Adam Trudeau, Lana decides to take matters into her own hands and digs into the lives of everyone involved in the contest. But when she receives an ill-fated fortune, Lana realizes that in order to save the reputation of the restaurant, she needs to save herself first. And then another one, Wonton Terror, who put this on the menu, Vivian Chang, another noodle shop mystery. So I think this is 3 and this is 4, or this is 4 and this is 3. I always get confused. Okay. So Lana Lee is all smiles when the first evening of Cleveland's Asian night market kicks off the summer. The weekly festival is always good for business and packed with locals and tourists. And this year, some stiff new food truck competition, Wonton on Wheels, run by old friends of Lana's parents, promises to have customers lining up for their delectably wrapped delights until the truck blows up at the evening's end. What the like what? Okay, sorry. Lana's boyfriend, Detective Adam Trudeau, has been planning a birthday getaway for the two of them, but lo and behold, Lana must assume the role of amateur sleuth yet again. With one it just freaking blows up. Like what the Wonton on Wheels dead. One proprietor of Wonton on Wheels dead. It begins to look more like murder and less like an unfortunate accident. And as they begin to unwrap the layers of this disturbing secrets, Lana's own family erupts into a new drama. Will Lana be able to solve this crime, or has she jumped from the walk right into the fire? I love this series. I'm really enjoying it. Like, man. Anyway, just bad luck. That noodle shop, my gosh. So I'm going to try this one. An English Garden Murder, Julia Bird Mystery 1 by Katie Gale. There we go. I'm giving it a try. I hope I really like it. I usually don't look at reviews and stuff like that. I kind of want to make up my own mind. I don't want to like have preconceived notions when I go into a story. Julia Bird has left London for a fresh start in the picturesque Cotswold village. and the rustic charm and cozy fireplaces of her little cottage are everything she's hoped for. But when she tears down. I'm sorry, just dramatic pause of me reflecting how effing annoying I am. Anyway, tears down the old garden shed to make way for a chicken coop, she unearths much more than she bargained for. The body of a young woman apparently buried for decades, thrusting Julia into a baffling mystery. With only one copper on the case in Berwick, Julia decides to solve the who and whodunit herself, taking her wayward puppy Jake along for the ride. And began the whirlwind tour of the village, from the dotty 90-year-old to the delightful doctor and the village gardener. It seems everyone has something to hide. Soon Julia is convinced that she has discovered the killer's identity until Jake, a true Labrador, finds a new love of the local lake's waterfowl and instead ends up catching her chief suspect drowned. Back at square one, with a potential culprit galore, Julia, duly nicknamed the Grim Reaper, despairs at ever solving the murders. But as Julia ruffles feathers in the village wide, the clock is ticking and there's someone in the village who has killed twice already. Will they be prepared to make it a third time, lucky to keep this secret safe? So I don't think it would be a surprise to say that I love Midsummer Murders and things like that, because I really do. And this kind of made me think of this Rosemary and Thyme, also BBC cozy mystery that I really love. I just think the synopsis, maybe it shouldn't have the stuff about the second murderer, because I feel like that's going to take some of the suspense off, but give it a try. Hope I really like it, because I always love finding a new writer, a new series I could dive into, whether it's romance or cozy. All right. This was a long one. Sorry about that. Next week I should have a book review for you. Can you tell I'm out of practice? Just a little bit? All right. I don't want to, but it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.